A man gave his best friend a diary that predicted she would die the next day.
Hier staat dat ik morgen ga sterven, ik vind dat niet niks.
Hank remembered the person who wrote this diary had long since been committed to a mental hospital. Even if he wanted to kill someone, he wouldn't have the chance. But he never expected that at midnight that very night, he would receive the news of his best friend's death.
Hank is dood.
His best friend had actually died on the very day predicted in the diary. Jace was instantly overcome with fear. That death diary didn't just predict Hank's fate. The names of 4 other friends were also written inside. If Hank's death wasn't a coincidence, then the others would die as well. A few days earlier, Jace had received word of his father's death, so he rushed back to his hometown that very day. At that moment, Jace had no idea that from the instant he returned to the small town, he had already stepped into a vortex of terror after burying his father. He went to find his friends. They hadn't seen each other in 22 years. It was only because Jace had returned to handle his father's funeral that they had the chance to reunite. Exactly 22 years ago today, their friend Sophie had been right there in front of them. This had terrified the young children. As adults, no one ever spoke of what happened that night, but only Hank looked excited. It turned out that after Sophie's accidental death, the group of friends had buried their most cherished possessions underground. They had agreed to reunite in 25 years, to dig up that time capsule, although there were still 3 years left until the 25-year mark. But they knew the chances of reuniting in 3 years were practically zero, so why not dig it up early tonight? And so the group returned to the woods to dig. Seeing their childhood memories, they were all exceptionally excited. Until Jess pulled out a diary. It was her older brother's diary. Jess took it aside to look through it, and discovered that the diary listed the names and dates of death for all their friends. The first name on the death list was Sophie. She died on July 11, 2002. But what unsettled him even more was this. That very night, right after they had buried the time capsule, the group had started telling horror stories, just as everyone was completely engrossed. Ron, his older brother, suddenly grabbed a knife and killed Sophie on the spot. After killing Sophie, Ron was diagnosed with a mental illness. He was subsequently sent to a psychiatric hospital for treatment. Could this list be Ron's murder plan? He took the diary to the psychiatric hospital where Hank worked. Ron was indeed confined there, so he asked Hank if Ron could ever leave the hospital. Hank said it was impossible for anyone to come and go freely. Only then did Jace reveal the matter of the death list. Hank's name was on it, stating she would die tomorrow. Ron had killed Sophie. This made Hank a little nervous, but considering Ron was confined to the most heavily guarded ward, even if he tried to harm Hank tomorrow, he wouldn't have the chance, because Hank wasn't scheduled to work tomorrow. There was simply no way she could have encountered Ron. Jace finally felt reassured, but unexpectedly, Hank still died at the time predicted in the list. Could it be that this wasn't Ron's murder plot, but actually a true prophecy of death? He quickly found Zoe, and showed her Ron's death list. Zoe immediately noticed Ron's own name on the list, but Jace's name was missing. If Ron really intended to kill them, how could he have died 2 days before Jace? To resolve this mystery, Zoe decided to confront Ron in person, but to see Ron, they needed permission from his attending physician or the hospital director, so the two went to the director's home, where Jace, acting as Ron's guardian, requested permission to visit him. They were then allowed to see Ron. Despite not having seen each other for over a decade, Ron recognized Jace immediately. Jace pulled out the diary right away. Upon hearing this, Ron immediately looked pained, and began to tremble all over.
Ik heb dit nooit opgeschreven. Het is niet mijn doodlijst. Het is die van u.